and welcome back to a new video. I am really excited to be filming this video today because it's kind of like bringing back an old video that I used to make. This is going to be called All the Movies I Watched in January 2018, and it is literally going to be me talking about each movie that I watched in January 2018. I used to film what I've watched videos, just talking about all the movies I'd watched recently, and then I stopped doing that. So this year I would like to film a monthly what I've watched. If you remember last year I did do a statistics video for a couple of months, and I thought about it. I was like, which way do I want to go with this? And I've decided I'm just going to go back to the old what I've watched and really kind of just jump into each movie briefly. So yeah, this is everything that I watched in January 2018. So in January I watched a total of 19 films, which I think is pretty good. And the first film that I watched, actually, before I get into the first film I watched in January, I want to just mention one film that I watched in December. And that was because I didn't do a December one of these. And it was kind of my surprise of December. And I watched Before I Fall, which is the Netflix original film. And I gave it 4 stars. I'm losing my voice. Sorry. I gave it 4 stars. And it's kind of one of those, she lives the same day over and over and over again. And it's a little bit high school-y and a little bit cheesy at times, but overall I really did like it and I would watch it again. You guys know I love like Pete's Christmas and I'm into that kind of film. So I did really quite enjoy Before I Fall. So if you've kind of been on the fence about it, if you like things like the Duff and that kind of thing, 'cause it is very like high school-y, I will say that. But bar that, if you don't mind that, I think you would quite enjoy it. I quite enjoyed it, I liked it. So yeah, January. Okay, so the first film I watched in January is the one that I always watch in January, and that is Sex and the City, the movie from 2008. I gave it 5 stars because I absolutely love this film. It's my kind of go-to feel-good film. I think about it a lot. I just really enjoy the film. I watch it every year on New Year's Eve, but I always put it as the January film. I technically watch it like December, but it's like New Year's Eve, so it's really close to it being January. So I always put it in January. I watch it every year, and every year I look forward to watching it on New Year's Eve. It's just that little thing. I love kind of joining with those characters again. It's a really quite a long film, especially for kind of what it is. So I just kind of really get into it, and I personally love it, but I know that's definitely not for everyone. Now the next film that I watched was Dunkirk from 2017, which is of course the Christopher Nolan directed film, and I love Christopher Nolan, but I was a little bit disappointed with Dunkirk, to be honest. I thought visually it was amazing. I mean, you definitely can't sit there and say it's not a visually amazing film. It absolutely is. It just looked really, really stunning. I think my problem was with Dunkirk, the year before, last year, I watched Hacksaw Ridge. And I absolutely loved it, and I was completely blown away. And I got really attached to the character. And I loved it. Whereas with Dunkirk, I feel like you can't really get that connection with the characters, bar the people who are on the little dinghy boat. Loved them, and I was kind of really into them. But so I think I went into it with the wrong mindset. Does that make sense? And I don't know. So I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was very good. Like I say, filmed amazingly, visually looked fantastic, especially in the beginning as well. I felt like it really kind of shook you a bit, how it felt very real. Like you felt like you kind of almost getting a real glimpse into what it would be like, even though you obviously can't imagine that. Anyway, so overall I was a little bit disappointed in Dunkirk. Also, I couldn't believe that Harry Styles was in it. I was like, he looks like Harry Styles. And then I looked up halfway through, I was like, it is Harry Styles. Like, how did that happen? I don't know. He was fine though. And so I would watch it again. And I'm hoping I'll enjoy it more a second time, because I think I was expecting something different from it. So I think it was my own personal fault. The next one I watched was National Treasure Book of Secrets from 2007, and I gave this 4 stars, and it was an absolute surprise. I am not a big fan of Nicolas Cage, and I'd recently watched Tomb Raider, and so I kind of was in that mood for kind of like a, Indiana Jonesy style vibe film, and this absolutely gave me that, and I loved it and had so much fun watching this. I absolutely want to rewatch it again. I want to rewatch the first one because I've not seen it in years. I just had a fun time with it. So if you're on the fence about the National Treasure movies because you don't like Nicolas Cage, I would recommend them. I just really enjoyed it. It was just exactly what I needed at the time. It was just a fun time with puzzles and tombs, and just that's exactly what I wanted. I love that kind of thing, like puzzles and stuff. I love that in video games. I like playing the Uncharted games and obviously the Tomb Raider games and things like that. So I enjoy that in films, and this just kind of got it right for me. The next film that I watched was Rockstar from 2001. This was a rewatch. I don't know if I said that. Dunkirk wasn't, National Treasure wasn't, Sex and the City was. So yeah, Rockstar from 2001 was a rewatch. Now, I wouldn't typically have rewatched this. However, I've owned it for years. I've watched it once before. It's got Jennifer Aniston, and that's the reason I initially picked it up. And Josh had spotted it in my collection years ago and said, "Oh my god, I love that film. It's one of my favourites." And I was kind of like, that's interesting. It's a weird one to be a favourite. I've never really heard anyone talk about it. It's got Mark Wahlberg as kind of the main character. And it's basically about him trying to get into this rock band, and kind of the story of him becoming kind of famous and how he deals with that and that kind of thing. And it's got a lot of music in as well. And so Josh said, "Please can we watch Rockstar?" Like, he'd asked me on different occasions. I said, okay. And I gave it 3.5. I enjoyed it enough. Josh loved it. I think had I not watched it with him, I might have given it a little bit less. But you know, when you're watching a film with someone and they're loving it, it kind of makes you like it a little bit more. But it's an okay film. I would watch it again, but not because I desperately want to watch it again. I just feel like I'll end up watching it again at some point because Josh loved it so much. So it's like how he watches the Sex and the City movie every year. So it kind of has to be some kind of back and forth there. So yeah, I enjoyed it enough. The next one I watched was Little Black Book from 2004 with Brittany Murphy. I was a little bit disappointed in this one. I gave it 3 stars. My favourite part of the film was the fact that she really liked Carly Simon, and I really liked that whole thing and the music in the film. But overall the story was just a bit too cheesy for me, and it wasn't really feel good. It's basically about her joining this kind of like a Jeremy Kyle, I can't think of a US equivalent, like TV show type of thing, and then she has this boyfriend, and then she decides to snoop into his past of all his like ex-girlfriends, and then she's also working at this TV show. I don't know. I wouldn't watch it again. I do really like Brittany Murphy, but I was a little bit disappointed in this one. Also, Kathy Bates is in this, and I was like, she wasn't really great in this, or wasn't really anything notable in it. And I do like Kathy Bates, but The next one that I watched was Mamma Mia from 2008. This is a rewatch. I gave it 3.5 stars. I really like Mamma Mia. I thought I loved it more than I did, but it doesn't matter. I still watch it again next week if someone asks me to. It's fun, it's cheerful, the music's fun, I like the cast. Obviously I rewatched it because the second one's going to be coming out this year, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, so that's the reason why I gave this one a rewatch. The next one that I watched was another rewatch, and that was The Giver from 2014. I gave this 4.5 stars. When this film first came out in 2014, but no, I picked it up in 2015 on Blu-ray, I'm sure. I watched it probably 6 times in like a space of 2 months. I really loved this film, and I still really love it, and I still really like what it does. It's kind of this utopian film, and I think it's really interesting. I think it brings up some really interesting points, and I really enjoyed it. But I wasn't as in love with it as I was before, but I still think I really enjoyed it. But I don't know if I'd be like, oh, I'd recommend it to everyone. But it's like a YA, I'm sure you've all heard of The Giver, actually, the book. Like, it's quite a famous book, so yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed the film. So, still enjoyed that one. Definitely will continue to watch it into the future. The next one I watched was Bride Wars from 2009. This was a rewatch, and I gave it 3 stars. I was a little bit disappointed in this one because I love Anne Hathaway and I love Kate Hudson, and there are 2 leading ladies in this one. But it was just okay. It's basically about them. They're both getting married. It ends up being on the same day, and obviously there's this whole thing between them. I think because I'm not a very wedding-y person, that's why I didn't really like this one. It's very obviously wedding focused, and all the wedding things you got to get done, and because I'm not really into that, I feel like I couldn't relate to on that level, so I didn't get a massive amount of enjoyment from it. And I didn't like how they were mad at each other most of the time, because I like friendships to be like more cheery friendships. I don't know. So yeah, it was just okay. The next one that I watched was The Heat, which was also a rewatch from 2013. I gave this 4.5 stars. I love this film. I talked about it in a video recently. Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy, who I both love. It's funny. Every time I watch it, I laugh like out loud, so I love it every time. I've seen it a bunch. I'll continue to watch it a bunch. It's one of my favourite kind of comedies, and one of my favourite buddy cop movies, because it is a buddy cop movie. So yeah, love The Heat. If you haven't seen it, definitely check that one out. The next one that I watched was Rambo from 2008. I gave it 3.5 stars, and I actually really enjoyed it. The more I think about it, the more I think I enjoyed it. It was kind of dark and brutal, but I really liked Sylvester Stallone. It just made me realise I really like Sylvester Stallone, so I definitely want to watch more of his films, and maybe even another Rambo, because that's the first and only Rambo I've seen, so I might need to go back and watch the older original Rambos. The next one that I watched was Dinner for Schmucks from 2010. Okay, I say I watched this. How much did I watch it? I put a little review. I watched an hour and 15 minutes, which felt like forever. Literally felt like forever, so I marked it down as watched. I think it's like only an hour and 40 minutes long anyway. I just really wasn't enjoying it. Steve Carell and Paul Rudd, and I love Paul Rudd, but I just wouldn't recommend this film. It said it's about this dinner where these people have to bring like kind of an odd person to dinner, and it really, at that point, I feel like we hadn't even got to the dinner. It wasn't about that at all. It was about him and this relationship, Paul Rudd, and this relationship, and then Steve Carell coming along, and it just ended up being stupid and silly and just frustrating to watch. So let's not talk about that one anymore. Didn't like that one. The next one that I watched was It from 2017. I gave this 4.5 stars. Really want to rewatch this one soon. I think I'll enjoy it even more upon a rewatch, because after watching it, I've been thinking about it, and I do really like this film. It's really good. I'm glad they've made a film like this. It kind of had those 80s vibes, and I thought the kids were fantastic in it. I thought the story was interesting, and like I said, the kids really, if the kids wouldn't have been as good as they were, I don't think it would have worked as well. But it did. It worked really well. I really enjoyed it, and I really want to rewatch it again. So yeah, really liked it. And the next one I watched was American Beauty from 1999. I was hesitant to watch this film. I will be talking about this a little bit more on my One Shelf at a Time video, so I'm not going to go into too much depth. But I gave it 4 stars, and I was surprised. I didn't think that I would like it. And Kevin Spacey's in it, which I tried to put aside the whole Kevin Spacey thing at the moment and just watch it for what it was. A lot of people talk about American Beauty, a lot of people like American Beauty, and I can see why. I thought it was going to be more about this man and this teenager and that whole thing, but it really wasn't about that. It, you know, it was a bit, but it wasn't focused on that. It never got too much. And so it ended up being a really interesting film about like a whole bunch of things. And I think today, even though next year it'll be 20 years old, some of the things it talks about are still really relevant, which I thought was really good. So yeah, that was a big surprise to me with American Beauty. The next one I watched was Mother, which came out in 2017. I gave this like half a star. I really didn't like it. I found it a very frustrating watch. I understand the whole message and point behind the film. I wrote a really long Letterboxd review on Letterboxd, so I'll link my Letterboxd down below, and if you want to know my thoughts on Mother. So I can definitely say Mother wasn't for me. I know it's a Marmite film. Some people really love it, some people really don't. I'm on the really don't side for Mother. The next one that I watched was Morning Glory from 2010 with Rachel McAdams, Diane Keaton and Harrison Ford. Yes. And I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 3.5 stars, but it was just a really nice, perfect, relaxing film that wasn't like dumbed down. You know, these kind of films, they dumb it down a bit. This one didn't do that, and I really enjoyed it. Initially, in the beginning, some parts and some characters can be a little bit frustrating, but then when you get into it, at the end of the film, it's one of those where you just end it smiling and you're feeling good, you're feeling great, and that's sometimes the absolute film that I want. I definitely would rewatch this one. I'm surprised I haven't heard more people kind of talk about it in those kind of feel-good film type of genres. I really, really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for that type of film, I would recommend this one. Rachel McAdams goes to work at a morning news show, and she's kind of like the producer, I think. She's like the behind the scenes person. She kind of organises it all, so I guess producer, director, like she, you know, she I don't know what they call it in TV news, and that's what she does. And she's trying to get, she works at one and she's trying to get into a bigger one, and then it doesn't really work out. She ends up with this kind of the lowest morning TV show, and she's trying to build it back up and get the ratings good and get it on track. That didn't make it sound fun. It is fun. It's really fun. The characters are great. You get to love them. The people in the workplace, I end up really liking some of them. And I just had a really good fun time with it. And the next one that I watched after that was Wind River from 2017. I gave this one 4 stars. I think that this is a really fantastic film. And to be honest, as a film, it probably deserves 4.5. But as enjoyment, which is what I rate my films at, I would give it 4. I think the cast was great. I think the story was interesting. I definitely think it was a story that needed to be told. We don't really see this. We don't really see many of these type of stories. Does that make sense? Basically, it's set in where is it set? I can't even think. Wyoming? No. And they've got this kind of Native American reserve, like weird, like big bit of land, and kind of crime can go unnoticed and unmissed because, for example, if I don't know, I don't want to spoil the film, but there's these girls going missing, or a lot of people going missing and dying, and you know, whatever, and they're not really having any justice served, and it's kind of about that. And then at the end it kind of tells you like the truth of behind this, like, you know, on the screen when it comes to the words. And so it was just really just interesting. It was very hard hitting at times. It really was an emotional film. It's a dark and emotional film, and yeah, it was, I don't really have, but it felt very real and raw, which I thought was really good for this. And yeah, that's all I've got to say. My words are jumbled on Wind River. It was just one of those films I don't even know how to describe. But yeah, it was dark and emotional, and yeah. Okay, the next film is Fatima Inverted from 2013. I feel like I'm going to get even more tongue jumbled with this one. I give this 3.5 stars. This is an anime film, and I enjoyed it, but I watched it when I was a little bit tired and I got a bit confused, and I don't think I connected with the characters as much as I wanted to. However, I will say the anime film I watched previous to this was Your Name, which kind of really set the bar really high. And this obviously didn't reach that level, but I shouldn't have gone into it. I didn't go into it kind of comparing it, but I'm now always going to have that kind of bar. I don't think anything will kind of go past it, but I don't know. I don't know too much what to say about this one either. Like, some films I feel like are easy. You can kind of talk about and say, this is what I thought. Others are a bit sticky. Like this one, I give it 3.5 because I enjoyed it. I thought it was an interesting concept. Basically, it's about this girl who, this is the thing as well, I don't want to ruin it. This was one where kind of things unravel, but you can see on the front there's a boy and there's a girl, and she's on the ceiling. So she's like, obviously, you know, Fatima is her name, she's inverted. And it's kind of figuring out why, and she comes down to this other place, and I'm not making any sense. If you watch the trailer, if you're into anime films and you've not heard of this one, definitely check out the trailer, because the trailer's really interesting, and it is an interesting film. And it's, you know, visually, it's not visually beautiful, I won't go that far, but it's visually pleasing. It looks nice. I like the world. I kind of like there was a few things that kind of were unexplained to me, but I think if I watched them again I would understand it more, because like I said, I was a bit tired. So if you do like anime films, definitely kind of don't let my botched description put you off. Like, just check out the trailer, I think. Because Wind River and Fatima Inverted, I'm not sure how to describe. They're both very different films, but my descriptions of them are a bit rubbish. The next one that I watched was a rewatch, and that was Arthur from 2011. It's a Russell Brand film, and I used to love this film. And I thought, I don't think I'll like this film anymore. I watched it, I did. I really liked it. It was funny. It's my guilty pleasure film. I don't know what it is. Some people will hate this film, and I completely understand that. But me personally, I really just like it. It's cute and it's funny, and I just really like the romantic love interest in it. It felt, to me, the love interest felt kind of believable and sweet, and it's very over the top, this film, but I like that about it. I don't know, I can't explain to you why I like this one, but I do. It's kind of one of those stupid films, you know, it's got Russell Brand in it, so that's literally all I need to say. You know what kind of film it's going to be, you know the kind of humour that it's going to be, but I like it. I've always liked it, but again, I thought I'd kind of got out of that humour. I just thought I wouldn't like it anymore, and I didn't. I really liked it, so yeah, I'll watch it again in the future. Okay, so my camera battery died. I knew it was dying, so I feel like that's why the last few were a little bit here or there, but still, Fatima Inverted, I'm still not 100% sure how to explain it, but I was just talking about Arthur, and I think Arthur is definitely a guilty pleasure movie for me. As I said previously, I hope, before it cut off, I know it's not for everybody, but I could definitely watch it and it would make my day better. I feel like now I've watched it, I want to watch it again. I know I'm going to want to watch it more, so I'm really glad I did rewatch it, because I did think, oh, I'm not going to enjoy this anymore, and I really did enjoy it. So yeah, super happy I rewatched that one. And the next one that I watched was Kingsman, The Golden Circle, Kingsman 2. This is the final movie that I watched in January, and I didn't think it was as good as the first one. And had I have seen this one first, I would have thought, I'm not sure that I like this. It's a bit over the top, cheesy. But because I've seen the first one, and I loved it, I really hope if they are to make a third one, which it seemed like from the end they were going to, that they'll kind of increase the quality in certain areas so that it's more matched to the first. But yeah, it's just me. However, it did have some moments which I thought were really good. That's why I gave it 4. And there were some parts that I don't know, I can't tell you without spoiling it. But yeah, there was, if you've seen it, you know, and that part I was like, no. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. But I just think the story was a bit, and I wasn't really keen on the whole romance situation with Eggsby. I always forget what his name exactly is. Eggsby? His whole love interest thing, I wasn't bothered about that. I could have just done without that completely, to be honest. And yeah, and I enjoyed it. I will watch it again. Looking forward to watching it again, but it's definitely not at the level of the first one. I think it's because as well, oh, again, I can't say that because I don't want to spoil it. Anyway, don't want to spoil Kingsman 2. I just said this, nearly said like a huge bit, but I feel like everyone knows that. I feel like I knew going in what might have been a spoiler. But I don't want to ruin it just in case. But yeah, 4 stars, enjoyed it. So just to recap, I feel like this video is all over the place. I'm really sorry. I haven't filmed a video in a while, for 1. And 2, the camera's cut off 3 times, so I feel like I'm just all over the place. 1, it ran out of battery. 2, it just ran out of space. And 3, it just did it for fun. I don't know why. My favourite film of the month was It. My biggest surprise of the month was American Beauty. And my least favourite film of the month was Mother. So those are kind of my roundups. And yeah, overall it was a good month, but I don't think I had any, bar Sex and the City movie, which was my favourite rewatch of the month as well, I'll say. I didn't have any big surprises or 5 stars. I only had 1 5-star. So hopefully February will be a better month for films, and I will do one of these videos for February as well. Thumbs up if you enjoy this video and would like to see more of these each month. I would definitely do that if you want to see them. Comment down below with your thoughts on any of these films, or your favourite film, your biggest surprise and your least favourite film of January. I would love to know. That's actually what would be best. If you let me know your favourite film of the month of January, your biggest surprise of January, and your least favourite. I'd love to know. I'll see you guys next time, and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye!